On behalf of the Washington County Bar Association, and on behalf of Judges Gondring, Neubauer, Martins, Giernoth, and our Circuit Court Commissioners Baumrad and Mall, I have the privilege of making these remarks. I had cases with Richard T. Becker when we were both practicing attorneys years ago. And of course, I appeared in his courtroom countless times when he was on the bench. Before taking the bench, before becoming a judge, Attorney Dick Becker was the outstanding Hartford private practice attorney, admired by all his colleagues in the Washington County Bar. He practiced in all areas of the law, including criminal, civil, family law, and estate planning. He tried serious criminal cases, represented people injured by the negligence of others, counseled those getting divorced, and wrote hundreds of wills and other estate planning documents. He also prepared income tax returns. Attorney Becker worked extremely hard for his family and for his clients, especially from the middle of January every year when he started preparing the farm tax returns, which are due February 28. And that unbelievable number of hours of preparing tax returns continued through the April 15 tax deadline. And by the way, he did all those innumerable returns with a pencil, by hand, no computers. It was always a good professional experience for me and the other county lawyers to have cases with Attorney Dick Becker. He was the perfect gentleman, highly ethical, and focused on resolving disputes in an orderly and businesslike way with the least stress to the clients. There was a period of time during which he not only practiced law privately with attorney Art Snyder, who some of you recall, but he was also simultaneously the part-time elected district attorney, as well as the part-time corporation counsel for Washington County, what we call now the county attorney. All of those things, just amazing. I'll give you an example, which I think is really the best example of how Attorney Becker was held in the highest esteem. When he decided to run for judicial position for judge, he called every lawyer in the county to say what he aspired to do. Every single attorney he called, those older than Dick and those younger, all told him that was a great idea, that he should do it, and he would be a fine judge. He was the obvious choice. He was not opposed. Everyone wanted him to take the bench, but at the same time, we were sorry that he no longer be a practicing attorney. He was perfectly prepared for the judgeship because he had practiced law so broadly. He knew every type of case he would be deciding as a judge because he had already participated as a lawyer in all types of cases. He had no legal blind spots. His transition was easy. Judge Becker was a real scholar, one of the most scholarly judges in the history of Washington County. As a lawyer, I can tell you that you were always comfortable coming into his courtroom because you were confident he knew the law and applied the statutes enacted by the Wisconsin legislature fairly. Oftentimes, he would bring to the attention of the attorneys Wisconsin and United States Supreme Court decisions, as well as statutes that they had not considered. The members of the bar, especially those, I use this euphemism I've heard so often lately, those in their vintage years, like Andy and me, have been informally exchanging anecdotes about Judge Becker in the last few days. I could go on for hours with Judge Becker anecdotes. I heard a number of them within the last hour. Or I can call upon those of you who've whispered your favorites to me within the last hour or so. But I'm going to leave you with two of my favorites. One is about fences, and the other is about doodling. All of us have things that irritate us, right? What irked Judge Becker the most? A downtown Milwaukee or Chicago lawyer who stumbled up to the courthouse in West Bend and adopted a condescending demeanor in his courtroom. He often said, informally but not entirely whimsically, I think we should build a fence on the county line in Germantown. Where's Todd? Judge Becker. Judge Barton's over here. I think we should build a fence on the county line in Germantown to keep those Milwaukee lawyers where they belong. If I was in court with one of those poorly informed souls from downtown as a lawyer, and the lawyer started acting in that condescending way, I cut short my argument and simply let him or her get legally clobbered by Judge Becker. Now let's talk about doodling. At the conclusion of a court hearing, a judge will often call upon the attorneys to sum up the case, providing him or her with a closing argument, applying the law to the facts as the lawyer saw them. It was well known in the bar that if you were looking up at Judge Becker and he appeared to be doodling, you were in trouble. He was not writing down all what you thought were great points in your client's favor. We attorneys always watched for the doodling so that we could desperately change gears if necessary when we saw him. He was one of the lawyers in the last jury trial held in our historic, magnificent old courthouse, and was a lead community advocate in Washington County for the maintenance of that treasured building and its collection by and for the people of Washington County. And he donated countless hours conducting tours there. I need to mention, and I know Dick would want me to do this, I'm going to do it. I need to mention his best friend on the bench, Judge James B. Schwalbach. Jim Schwalbach was Judge Becker's best friend in the law. They consulted and advised each other constantly, exchanging legal concepts. Personality-wise, it was fun to observe. Judge Becker, on one hand, a serious Catholic, and Judge Schwalbach, who called himself a fallen away Unitarian. Both were very bright and equals in their substantial legal skills. When Jim Schwalbach died of leukemia, it hit Dick hard and accelerated his retirement. After retirement, he very regularly continued to attend the Washington County Bar Association meetings. Judge Richard T. Becker, you were the dean and mentor of our judiciary, and we all miss you and your guidance. Thank you.